The Lunar Guardsman. Written by Krimar. Chapter 8. Didn't Pay Enough Attention. Part 1. The door was struck once again. A crack appeared on its surface from the latest hit, the force of it almost breaking it open. Twilight gave the lock a cursory glance. It wouldn't hold out against another one. Violent crashes, roars of rage, and grunts of pain had been coming from the other side for some time now. Twilight had cast a new silencing spell, but being this close to the entrance meant that she was inside the spell's outer radius she had set it up.
Do you think we should go in and stop them now?
Twilight asked Applejack. Luna's voice thundered from inside the locked room.
I will fucking murder you.
Applejack sat down.
Let's wait a tiny bit more, I say. I think they still got some more anger to work out.
Another minute passed with the sounds of fighting continuing undiminished. Twilight kept looking at the half-broken door.
Give it a rest, Sugar Cube. They'll be out when they're all ready and done.
Twilight shook her head. She kept trying and failing to wrap her mind around what was currently happening.
I can't believe they are hurting each other like that. I thought they were friends. Now it sounds like they are.
Trying to kill each other?
Applejack asked. Twilight nodded. She heard Regden shout in pain, followed by a resounding slap. Was Regden really hitting Luna in there? For real? She would never expect something like that from him, not in 1,000 years.
If it helps,
Applejack tried to soothe her worries.
I don't think they're doing this to hurt each other.
Twilight's response was the look of pure skepticism at the denial of reality.
No, really,
Applejack said. The continuous thumping of metal against the stone inside was making a real good argument against her and Twilight's opinion.
I really think they're just trying to push the other to hurt themselves.
Luna screamed in pain.
Okay, not trying. They sound like they succeeded just fine.
Why, Applejack? Why would they do that to themselves?
The only saving grace in this all was the fact that they forewent their usual practice of heading straight to the guard training hall and kicking every pony's flank there. Applejack managed to keep them in that room, and to tell them to work out their issues in some other way. Not that this was much better, but at least no pony else would get hurt. Applejack shrugged.
Self-retribution, I guess. The way they see it, they really messed up. So now they're punishing themselves.
By beating each other up?
What? This really surprises you? I don't think they're the kind that would punish themselves by cutting off dessert.
Applejack pointed towards the room where the aforementioned mutual destruction was taking place.
Regden never used violence for punishment.
Against you and Spike?
Asked Applejack.
Sugar Cube, of course he wouldn't. He loves you and Spike to pieces, and he would never even consider to willfully hurt the two of you. But Luna and he don't hold themselves up to the same standards. Those two believe they deserve what they are getting right now. At least that's what they think.
Applejack speculated. Twilight was aghast at the thought.
Regden and Luna don't deserve anything like this.
I know, Sugar Cube.
Applejack agreed.
Nobody does. But you're the one who told us that Regden himself is the first to speak up against himself as to how he has little problems, right? I think Luna is the same. Those two have been cast out the exact same mold. I'm sorry, Twilight, but from what I've seen, violence is in their blood. So I think that there's a reason they don't really speak up in their defense when they get hurt, or ponies try to kill him. If they get hurt enough, then for him it means that that's all settled and nothing else needs to be said or done.
Applejack frowned as she thought more about what she just said.
This might actually be part of the problem. Who knows what they might believe they're free to do because of what they've been through.
Applejack lost herself in thought.
You seem to understand the two of them much better than I do,
Twilight complained.
Regden practically raised me and I never thought about that.
Applejack shook her head as if waking up.
They're like foals in a way sometimes. You know, like Applebloom used to think I was against her when she was younger and lashed out on me. Same old tricks work on them too. This here's kind of the same. Making a little filly choose between getting grounded or getting a smack on being in for trouble, and they'll choose to smack every time.
Twilight sat next to Applejack, leaning her back against the wall.
So, what you're saying is that this is their way of...
Right now, they're admitting they goofed.
Regden's pained howl from the inside halted Applejack's explanation.
I'll rip your wings out for that.
He cried out.
Are you okay, Twilight? Look, you shouldn't worry. They're not gonna kill.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Twilight whispered angrily. Applejack didn't answer. Twilight couldn't see her, not with the way she had her forelegs around her head, but she could take a good guess at her expression.
We were supposed to have a good time, like we used to. When I was at my parents' home, the day before yesterday, I was making all of those plans. We would go to the tournament and have fun, with Rigdon at the seats with us, not watching him kill and hurt ponies. We would go to Donut Joe's, maybe go camping. We would listen to Rigdon stories. We would have fun with him, with no pony in danger of getting poisoned. And maybe I could get him to come to Ponyville with us and show him around. Show him my library. Take him to Sugar Cube Corner, your farm, Rarity's Boutique, Fluttershy's Animals. Rainbow could show up the show for all of us.
Twilight was almost shouting over the combat's din.
I'm sorry, Sugar Cube, but that's the hand we were dealt. But hey, it can still happen. We are here now, helping them. If it all ends well.
Applejack's hopeful speculation was once again interrupted, this time by the door's failure to endure the latest assault. Pieces of wood exploded everywhere as a dark blue alicorn crashed through the door and onto the floor. Luna picked herself up and shook her head harshly. Her magic grabbed a splinter that had gone through her wing and savagely pulled it out, spraying blood on the floor. She spat it on the ground, a thick glob of saliva and blood, and turned towards the room's entrance. Her gritted teeth were red, her coat and hoof were splashed with specks of blood, and even with her dark coloring, Applejack and Twilight could see her bruises forming on her. Rigdon stumbled out. His armor was beaten up and blood was flowing from beneath his helmet. His hands and boots had a few red splotches on them. One of the large pauldrons had been ripped off. Twilight noticed the bleeding, a deep bite on his upper arm. It looked like Luna had almost ripped a piece off.
Is that all you got, Luna? I thought you said you knew how to fight. Come on, almighty alicorn. Are you afraid of getting your ass kicked some more?
He wheezed angrily. He was completely exhausted. Twilight had never seen Rigdon put so much effort into the simple act of standing up, except the first time she ever saw him. His breathing was harsh, and Twilight believed that she could hit a wet girl in it. His arms were shaky and he was swaying as he stood. Luna was in a better condition, but even she was reaching her limits. Twilight could see her legs were trembling, threatening to give out under her, but his taunting spurred her on. Luna's wings exploded outwards, and with a mighty beat, she launched herself at Rigdon, forelegs stretched forward. Rigdon didn't try to dodge or block. He probably no longer had the strength to do so. They both disappeared from their view as they heard the clang as Rigdon was crushed against the opposite wall further inside. Twilight got up. She was going in there and putting a stop to this. If they kept on, one of them would end up in serious trouble. Rigdon, probably. Luna was going easy on him, foregoing her use of magic against him, but he was already drained, both of blood and energy. He had slept for only 4 hours. He was very possibly anemic, and his wounds never got the chance to heal. His side and arm might be bleeding on his armor. If they didn't stop them, Luna could kill Rigdon any minute now. Inside, Luna was on top of Rigdon. The biped sprawled across the floor. She was riding on his chest and hitting his armored head, her strikes whipping it off one side to another.
Stop! Stop, Luna! You're going to kill him! That's enough!
Twilight shouted. Neither of them paid her any attention. Rigdon brought his left hand forward, blocking Luna's last hit. He grunted as his hoof impacted the wound under his bracer. His right hand punched her right off the muzzle and rocked her off of him. Twilight kept trying to get them to hear her, to stop, and she was ignored. With Luna off him, Rigdon managed to drunkenly get back on his knees before Luna jumped him again. He managed to grab her, twist around, and throw her on the ground behind him. Luna retaliated with a kick of her back leg, hitting Rigdon's stomach. Rigdon got knocked back a bit, but quickly regained his footing and managed to stay up. As Luna got up to her legs, Rigdon bent and grabbed the same leg she had hit him with. Luna barely had the time to grit her teeth at him before he spun her around and threw her on a wall. Falling down to his knees again, Twilight could hear him gasping. She moved in front of him, and she heard him spitting inside of his helmet and saw the red-tinted liquid dribble down from the edge of the helmet.
Rigdon! Luna, stop! That's enough! You were hurting your...
Rigdon pushed her to the side. The next second, an enraged Luna was on top of him. They wrestled on the ground, trading hits. Rigdon ignored Luna's strikes at his torso, grabbed her head from the side, and headbutted her right on the muzzle with his armored forehead. A few drops of blood from Luna's shattered nose almost landed on Twilight when Luna fell down. Rigdon got up to his feet again and tried to repeat his previous throw. Luna was prepared for him, though. and as soon as he got close enough, she kicked out with her hind leg, nailing Regden right between his legs with a mighty clang.
Oh, you little bitch.
He whimpered as he fell down on his hands and knees.
Padding. Definitely going to need better padding.
He whispered in a higher pitch than normal.
Not so cocky now, are we? Let me return the favor now that I got you down on your knees.
Luna snarled and pulled off his helmet. They were small, dried rivers of blood coming from the top of his head and mouth. He looked terrible, and it was going to get worse apparently. Luna headbutted him with a vicious snarl, and Regden fell back down on his back again. His arms started scrambling around slowly, feeling their way as if he was blind.
Oh, that felt good.
Luna moaned almost sensually.
Let's have seconds, shall we?
Regden dropped the act as soon as Luna gloated over him with his right fist and launched upwards from below. Regden grunted his pain as his fist landed with a thud on Luna's jaw. Twilight remembered his broken fingers. If he kept this up, he would never heal at this rate. Luna blinked once, and then slowly lost her balance, slumping on the floor. Regden had turned the tables on her. He got on his knees above her as she lay on her back, dazed. He brought his hands together, two fists side by side, and raised his arm above his head, ready to bring them down on her. Applejack's voice piped up, full of amusement.
Whoa, Nelly. Now this thing right here is getting pretty suggestive, ain't it?
The unexpected comment brought an instant pause to the two fighters. Regden and Luna both looked downwards, Twilight noticing what Applejack meant. The way Regden was positioned in between Luna's legs as she lay there was as if it was something that was going to haunt her nights. She closed her eyes. Maybe they could go back to beating each other senseless, please. Regden and Luna didn't share Twilight's opinion. A drop trickled down from Regden's forehead and fell on Luna's belly. They both snorted as they looked at each other. Soon their loud laughter was filling the room, and Regden let himself fall to the side next to Luna, both of them laughing like crazy. It took a while for their insanity to peter off. Regden half groaned, half laughed.
Oh hell, it still feels like I'm going to throw up.
Was it good for you too?
Luna asked him, still chuckling. Regden barked in laughter again. He slowly and painfully pushed himself up to his half-sit on the floor and reached for his helmet.
You dislocated my left shoulder,
he complained to Luna. Luna got up to her wobbling hoofs.
I believe you did the same to my right hind leg afterwards. Here, give me your arm.
She got hold of Regden's offered left arm. With a twist and a push, she put it back into place with an audible crunching sound. Regden hissed in pain.
Your turn,
he groaned. Luna lied back down. Regden got hold of her leg and traced the connection between her flank with his fingers to find the leg's socket.
Getting a little frisky, aren't we?
She said, amused. Celestia only knew where she found the strength for that. Twilight noticed how Luna forced herself to breathe through her mouth.
Your adopted daughter and her friends are watching, but if that's what you are into nowadays...
Don't make me laugh again. It hurts,
he said with a chuckle. He suddenly thrusted her leg towards her body, and another pop sounded in the room. Lunar, to her credit, barely made a peep. Twilight and Applejack cringed quite a bit in her place.
Regden, how are your stitches?
Twilight asked. What they did was extremely stupid. Pinkie Pie was not out of danger yet. She would need Regden's unique brand of aid again, and here he was bleeding himself out on the floor. How would he be able to donate even a drop more if he kept on? How would Pinkie fare without his nullifying blood? What would happen to him if he fell into shock from blood loss?
Surprisingly, I think they are okay. Everything feels whole down there.
So,
Applejack said.
y'all settled then? Done fighting each other?
I can't believe we got played like that.
Regden fell back on the floor and lied down.
We underestimated the Solar Commander,
Luna said.
His response was as genius as it was ruthless. You almost sound like you admire him for it,
Twilight noted.
Nah,
Regden denied the notion.
But you got to admit, a brilliant move when you see it. Learn from it.
And what did y'all learn from it?
Applejack asked. Regden shrugged.
Next time, challenge him directly on a 1-versus-1 duel. Let's see Steadfast think his way out of my hands tearing his throat out.
He breathed hard and fast as he lay down.
So you're saying y'all ain't learned horse apples?
I learned that I'm not half as smart as I thought. How did I let it slip by me? Her son's holy name, I screwed up.
Rigdon panted. Luna was examining Rigdon as she laid next to him.
Do you feel okay, Rigdon? How can he feel okay?
Twilight asked him, scandalized.
Look at him.
I'm fine, little one,
He said, trying to alleviate Twilight's concerns.
I'm having trouble getting my breath back.
Are you feeling too tired?
Luna asked. Rigdon thought over the question before answering.
Way more than I should be.
I knew it!
Twilight shouted in exasperation.
You are anemic. Tell me, Rigdon, Luna, are two of you trying to kill yourselves?
They were insane. Twilight was certain they had truly lost it. Instead of acting like even a little pensive, a little regretful, anything, they started laughing their flanks off again. Their eyes were actually watering for Celestia's sake. She felt a little guilty for using that expression, but habits like these were hard to give up.
I feel much better and relaxed now.
Luna let them know.
Come, Rigdon, let's go to our rooms, treat our wounds, and rest up. Twilight, Applejack, we will be back later tonight to continue with Pinkie Pie's treatment.
Shouldn't you two get those wounds checked out first?
Applejack asked.
Rigdon, this is serious. You're not well. In all probability, you're not even fit to keep helping Pinkie Pie the way you are.
Twilight told him.
We are fine.
Rigdon insisted.
Just a bunch of bruises.
He said while using a handkerchief Twilight passed to him to staunch the blood flow from his bitten shoulder.
Let me worry about myself, little one. I've been through far, far worse.
He graced Twilight with a smile.
What I want you to do is find out when Little Pink is going to be okay to move around again. I'm going to take you and all of your friends out to Donut Joe's to celebrate when we can get her out of there. My treat.
Did you?
Twilight stuttered. He didn't hear her complaining outside, did he?
It's amazing how much your senses sharpen when someone is doing her best to bite a piece off of you,
he said while he buckled the pauldron back in one place. Luna blushed.
See you later, little one. I hope if someone did something up there, they didn't mess with the bathroom. I'm not in the mood to die again while preparing the bathtub.
Rigdon's chuckles trailed off as they left. Twilight made her decision.
Rigdon!
She called out.
Wait.
The bear paused at the door.
Yeah, little one?
Twilight turned to Applejack.
Applejack, do you mind if you escort Luna to her chambers on your own? I need to have a talk with my dad.
It was time she did. There were things she needed to clear up.
I will bring him there when we are done.
Wait,
Rigdon said in confusion.
Since when do we need chaperones?
I think you've personally needed one since you were born, but we will have to make do with this for now,
Applejack told him as she made her way to Luna's side.
After you, princess.
Luna did not move.
Rigdon?
I will be right there, Luna. Just don't go inside until I'm there to check up the rooms. You know the drill.
I insist that I'm the one who takes the risk for once. We have set a rotation, as I've told you before.
Luna sounded exhausted.
I agree.
Luna smiled slightly to hear him say that.
But there's this little thing that's bothering me. Oh, of course. How could I forget? I'm officially your guard now, so no. You will wait for me.
Luna's smile was gone again. She turned around and left with a huff, Applejack rushing behind her. Rigdon made his way to a chair that was thrown aside and put it back in its place.
Have a seat, little one. We should make this quick. Luna will wait for me only so long as before she starts searching herself.
He leaned against the wall and let himself slip down to the floor slowly.
What's the deal with the leaf stream? Why did you do that?
Twilight asked. Their reasoning was beyond them. They trusted almost no pony, but why do this? Rigdon gave a small laugh. Twilight would feel insulted, but she didn't think he was laughing at her.
We need a clue, little one. Something to follow. Leaf Stream is something that has extremely good reason to want us dead, and we just gave her a way to get close enough to do us in.
Oh, this was getting ridiculous. Rigdon was suicidal. That was the only answer, because the one he just offered made no sense.
Ah, little one. So innocent.
He reached for Twilight and pinched her cheek.
Whoever wants us dead, at least one of them will try to recruit her. The bait is just too good. Now, we just need to be patient and wait for Leafstream to make her attempt. Then we will question her and we will have our guy. Risky, but it's all we got for now.
Twilight understood now. It was a dirty trick in her opinion.
You're setting up Leafstream. You don't care at all. She's just a pawn to sacrifice, isn't she? You just gave her the matches and now you wait for her to get burned.
Twilight tried to put all the loathing she felt about this plan in her voice. Leafstream did not deserve this, not after what Twilight saw her in the room. Regden lost his smile.
Look, little one. When I thought of this plan, you are right. I don't care. Let her burn. That's what I would say an hour before, but she really impressed me in there, you know?
Regden pleaded for Twilight to understand his reasoning.
I hope she will decide to take a chance with us. Maybe she will come forward and reveal any conspiracy they try to lure her into. I really hope she does.
And if she doesn't?
Twilight asked.
You must forget one important thing, Twilight. No matter how Luna acts, no matter how little use of her title we make, she is still a princess. Her safety, her life comes first. Everything else comes second. Leafstream has the chance to do the right thing or the wrong thing. I will act accordingly.
This is not fair to her, Regden. She is in no position to make the right choice in her state.
Life's not fair. If it was, I would not be a homeless
His voice trailed off, tinged with anger.
It's not fair, Twilight. That's life.
It doesn't have to be.
Twilight contested his reality.
If the world isn't fair, then it's your job to make it so.
What?
When you need food, you don't just whine that you starve and that's how the world is. You farm the land. You work hard and you make a difference. And if enough ponies help, you can have enough food to feed a whole world.
Twilight finished her short speech with a strike of her hoof on a chair. Regden was looking at her with wide eyes.
That sounds like something your friend Applejack would say. Did she say that?
Princess Celestia told me that actually. Justice and fairness do not exist out in the world. They exist in the hearts, and we make them real through our actions. Princess Celestia told me that the world is not fair herself. She's not blind, Regden. But Princess Celestia, unlike you, is trying to do something about it instead of giving up.
Twilight smiled at him. Regden kept his face calm.
Celestia is exceptional. I have never met someone like her anywhere. I believed that someone like her was just a dream, a fairy tale. I wish there were more like her, but there are not, Twilight. There are only just one of her. This is a war she can't win.
It doesn't mean she will stop trying,
Twilight told him.
Or that we shouldn't help.
Regden silently looked at his helmet for some time before putting it on and standing up.
Go down swinging, eh? That I can relate to.
He clapped his hands together.
What do you want me to do then?
Twilight got up and they started moving towards the exit together.
I want you to give Leafstream a chance. Ask her if anyone came to her before she does something rushed.
I think that's stupid. Fine, I will do that. If she says yes, happy.
Close enough,
Twilight answered. Regden stopped her before going out the doorway.
Twilight, you know I am trying to do my best, right?
I know you do, Dad. I just think you can do much better.
He hummed unconvinced and strode out. Twilight believed she could make him change his tune. He could do better. She had seen it first hoof. She brought it back to Leafstream. Something had stirred him in there. Both him and Luna. Perhaps for all their talk about accepting the world as not being fair, something in them still fought against it. They reached out for Leafstream in their own strange way, but they did it for a little while. If Twilight and the girls kept close to them, kept pushing them to be better...
You killed my daddy.
There we go. A wonderful cliffhanger to leave you on. Evil Firehearth aside, this was another wonderful chapter, and I hope you guys agree. Now I would like to thank my wonderful donators. Thank you my Tier 1 donators Chase Lemaster, Starlight Blaze, Thine Honey Equine, Squall Windfeather, Stu Hex, Rain Flicker, and Dreamless Portal. My Tier 2 Patreons Capt and Blueshadow, Solus, HKH4 aka Texture, and the Animated Ghost. And a new one, Sword Brethren Mordred. Thank you for upping your donation, dude. I really appreciate it. And of course, a large thank you to Silent Titan. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and it means a ton to me. If you want other ways to support me, while your viewership is more than enough, however, leaving a like, comment, and of course subscribing for the algorithm would mean a ton to me, and I thank you. Anyways, this has been Firehearth. Have a wonderful day.